Hi, I want to talk about this book today. It's by Akala and it's called Natives, Race and Class in the Ruins of Empire. Wow. Um, a fantastic book. I mean, I'm trying to do some book reviews, okay? I want to get people involved in reading and just understanding there are books, there are things to do other than stare at social media all day. That is not brain food. I call books brain food. Yes, key important books that you really need to read. And this is one of those books by Akala, the rapper, Mobo award winner, writer, speaker, activist, football player, star. Okay, I met Akala 2017. I was in London at the Dorchester Hotel for a fundraising posh dinner, lovely fundraising dinner for Jamaican athletes, and Akala was there, and I asked him. I introduced myself. I went up to him while we had a kind of mingling session after the dinner. Also, Usain Bolt was there. And I went up to Akala and I explained to him, I said hi, and I said who I was and the kind of work I was doing, preserving history and promoting education. And I said, can I take a photo? Can we have a photo? He's like, yeah, great, let's do it. So I've got a lovely photo of Akala, me and Akala together, not together, but just embracing the occasion. It was a lovely function. So he's a great guy, seems like a really good guy, and he's done some amazing work. And this is one of the works he has done. It's one of his books. Published 2018, so it's a new book, Natives, Race and Class in the Ruins of Empire. And I'm trying to read some new books that I've not read. As a former English teacher, English literature, English language at secondary school, and my degree was English, so I've been surrounded by all different types of books. But there are some books now by some top class, first class writers. Obviously a lot younger than me, but it's just good to hear the thoughts of young people now and some of the experiences that they are feeling, comparing to my own life in Britain, the so-called black British experience. What is it? How do we explain our journey? What has that journey been like? And how different is it from mine? How different is Akala's journey from my journey as a black woman born in Nottingham? So I bought this book off Amazon. I know, some of the book retailers are sold out of some of the key texts that everyone is talking about right now. Afua Hirsch's book, Identity and Belonging, her book's a major hit. Eddie Lodge, I'm no longer talking to white people about race, another top seller. Can't get that for you cannot find that right now because it is sold out. So these are key books, hot properties. So if you've got this book, you need to open the pages and start to look at the experiences of a person brought up in this country, what it is like, and some of the realities of that. So the book is in 11 chapters. I am literally up to chapter 5, but it's written, it's quite an interesting style, because for me as an English teacher, I do like to look at the writer's approach, how they actually put the words on the paper, how they arrange the narrative, the story, how it flows. Yes, so I kind of look at that, how the structure of the writing, as well as obviously the content, which I'm key, that's the key part of the book, obviously. But I like to look at the style and the voice of the writer. I like to feel that they're talking to me, and I like to feel close to the writer, that they can relate to me. So I look at the words that they use, the diction, the vocabulary, the grammar, the sentence structure, syntax, and so forth, as you do as a former English teacher. And I don't mark it, by the way. I don't give him, I don't assess it, but I just look at that. I just like to look at style, and it's a lovely style that he's written, and it's very real. He keeps it real. His language is very chatty. it's it's an honest portrayal. I sense that he talks from the heart. He's a genuine person, and it's just lovely that he's really explained some of, revealed some of, quite sensitive life experiences in his book, Natives, Race and Class in the Ruins of Empire. So I don't want to give too much away, but the book's a lovely, it's a really nice book to read, especially young people can grapple with this one. I like it that he starts off with his life, his kind of birth, but the way he tells his life story, because it's kind of written in an autobiographical style, but then he interweaves key episodes in British history that have actually affected his life, and given him, he's bore witness to a lot of key events in this country, and he explains it with eloquence, and he explains it really well, and he gives you a good picture. But he doesn't just do that, he gives you key context, political context, cultural context, and how racism as well is all wrapped up in that. His life story, he's experienced some serious racism, yeah, but he goes into detail on how that racism is overt racism and inverted racism, not so kind of blatant, more subtle on that, and that's to do with the way he's spoken to, the way he talks about his life at school, and the way teachers just condescending sometimes. We've all experienced that. We've all experienced teachers who are just sometimes sometimes I won't say too smart, they're undereducated in fact, but they use their power, the fact that they've got a certificate, a piece of paper that says that they're a teacher. They use that to undermine someone's confidence sometimes. So I'm still a qualified teacher, but I do understand that I saw different styles of teaching, and every day as a teacher you do try your best, but some teachers do fall short, in their professionalism. So he does talk about that. And one of the chapters on the body, the male body, and it's chapter 4, Linford's lunchbox, and he just really talks about how African people of African heritage, but in this political world that we live in, racialized as black, he calls them in his book, so black people effectively, but African people, I'm African, yes, so people of African descent, how they are undervalued for their achievements, particularly in the sporting realm. So he discusses in depth episodes regarding Linford Christie's experience as a top world-class athlete, respected athlete in our community, but how the media really undermined his confidence by kind of exploiting his physique and body, instead of concentrating on his sporting successes. And he also talks about Frank Bruno's journey as well. So he kind of touches on he brings in key episodes in British history, which we can remember. I'm 51 now. I was 51 this week, and what he talks about, all of it I can remember. But I've not seen anyone explore those issues, but in a interesting, I won't say funny way. There's bits of wit in there that it's quite nice to hear, read. But he keeps it real, and he keeps it factual, and he brings in a lot of evidence. He's got fantastic references in the back, and I must say that whenever you do actually read a book, you need to I never finish a book without looking at the back end of the book, which I think is one of the most important areas of the book, because you'll find the bibliography or references sometimes as well, and notes as well. So he really he keeps it academic as well. It's a kind of personal story, but he's shown that he has read widely. And he links in key texts and a lot of contemporary texts, a lot of texts that I haven't seen, but I want to read now because he has listed them for us. So, you know, I'm grateful that he's done that, which is great. So, you know, and he lists key books that are linked to what he's talking about that you should also look up. So I really appreciate that with writers, that they do that. They show, you know, they show their learning journey where they've, which text they've looked at in order to inform their approach to their writing. So you know, I'm going to stop at that point because I'm up to chapter 5, which is all about Scotland and Jamaica, because Akala is his mother's Scottish, according to his story, and his father's Jamaican. So he's got some links with Scotland, and so have I. My mother is my mother's surname is McCormack, which is Scottish, and so her family, they have looked into their family history. My mother's family, and we do have Scottish links as well. So I'm looking forward to reading chapter 5, but I really hope you buy this book. It's £8.99. I got it off Waterstones for, was it £6.99 or £7.99? So have a look on Waterstones, have a look on Amazon or any other book retailer. If you can get it from a black book retailer, please get it from them. I am going to try to share some black book retailers over the weeks that I do more of these videos, but do enjoy this book, Natives, Race and Class in the Ruins of Empire by Akala. Okay, see you soon.